Cree people cover traditional territory from what is now present-day Ontario, Quebec, all the way into northern BC. So there was not one homogeneous Cree people. There was many different nations of Cree people. There was Nihiowak on the south, who were Plains Cree. There was Muskego Cree from the north. There was Woods Cree. And they all shared a similar language, but they had different dialects and they had different ways of life. The one thing they did have in common was what all Indigenous nations had prior to contact, and that was they had all of the characteristics of a nation. They had their own social systems, their own laws regulating their behavior with one another and their behavior and relationship with the land and environment around them. They had their own religions, some call spirituality, which again dictated the social mores that people live by and their relationship to the Creator and to Spirit. They had their own languages, of course, and their own education system. The way children were raised and were trained was usually by the elders, by the grandparents, because the adults were off, in the business of making a living and supporting the community. They also had the military capacity to protect their people and to protect their territories. So the one thing all Indigenous peoples shared before contact was the fact that they were nations, and they embodied all the characteristics of nationhood. A lot of change occurs at the point of contact. The fur trade arrived. They slowly became enmeshed in the fur trade, first as providers of fur, and later as provisioners of country food, tools, supplies, and then later even more as seasonal wage laborers. During the fur trade and before and after, the people were not sedentary. People were migratory. They had huge territorial land bases, and they had seasonal rounds. They weren't nomadic, because to be a nomad means to wander aimlessly, and our people did not wander aimlessly. They had an annual migratory route that they followed. Caribou in the north, moose, fisheries, all of the life cycle of the environment dictated their movements. No cultures are static. Cultures around the world change over time, and they change as a result of all sorts of factors, some of which they choose to and some of which are enforced on them.
We originated from Norway House, moved over back in 1875, 136 years ago. Originally a fishing community, strong fishing community. We used York boats as one of the main industries while we were back in Norway House, and ran for many years, and the introduction of the steamboats took away that industry. 200 plus people out of jobs. You couple that with lack of resources, food to hunt and to trap, and the overcrowding. That was the main reason why we moved down. We originally didn't land in Fisher River. We landed in where present Riverton community is, and we kind of backtracked up into Fisher Bay and then up the Fisher River, and we landed there. Originally we were looking for farmland and just a better life for the people.
They had a few farmers in Fisher River, but I don't think they have too many farmers now.
Well, we have a lot of commercial fishermen in Fisher River. It's part of a way of life, I guess you can, if you use that old saying. That's part of how and who we are.
We are surrounded by Ojibwe and Soro people. We're the only Cree-speaking people in Interlake area in Fisher River, because we all came from Norway. They came from Norway House. Like I was telling somebody, I said, well, we are the Crees here in Fisher River, I said, and we got to be the strongest people, and the Cree people who are all surrounded by Ojibwe.
Even moving from our sister nation, Norway House, we lost a lot along that road, in particular the language and the culture and the teachings of the elders. Like our community is one of the communities that was impacted by residential schools, a big impact.
And our parents were strapped for speaking their language.
We were put in prisoner war camps called the reservation. We weren't allowed to go beyond the boundaries of the reservation. We had ceremonies at that time, and after that promise was made, that treaty was made, what did they do to our ceremonies? The police and the missionaries and their police and their spies, we couldn't have ceremonies anymore because they were outlawed. They cut down those totem poles and they built their church over those totem poles. My neighbor is over 70 years old. That was the last time they had a stand-up ceremony for a newborn baby that's about to walk. And his parents took him out, and the police found out about it, Indian agent, and they snuck up to those people that were doing the stand-up ceremonies, and they stripped them, spanked them naked. And at that time they also cut off their ration.
The impact of residential school here in our community and government with their policies, we lost so much. And people have to really take a look at what we had as a people.
Presently the acting chairman of the National Cree Gathering working group. And it's been going off and on for the last 14 years. When it first started, my uncle Eli Bear was the one that had this vision of creating this sacred fire. He knew ahead in time that we would be going through hard times, and then our people would have a place to go where it would be safe. They would be able to receive traditional knowledge. They would be able to receive healing. They would be able to learn about themselves as a people and sit with the elders and get direction in life.
It started in OCN, and we made that commitment at that time to support it. We sent our people there, and as if I remember, it was a miserable year. It rained, but the people still went.
And in '96, we got the spirit again, and we hosted another one, and that one was a great one. We had elders from all over the country, and then they came in, and we signed a declaration
to build this sacred fire where people could go to obtain that traditional knowledge, to learn about who they are, that self-identity, and the customs, the culture we have as a people, and the many ceremonies we have as Cree people. The song, the dance, the connection to the land, the spirit of the land.
These Cree Gathering is for everybody, eh? It's just not for the right and the righteous, it's also for the druggies and the alcoholics, they're welcome to come in because they're human beings too, and they're part of the Cree Nation. That's who we are.
The elders that are involved with the gathering are language carriers. They carry the ceremonies of our people, and that was why they were offered the tobacco to help us and to share what they carry with our people, in particular the youth. Each elder that's been invited to the gathering has something to contribute. It could be about specific Cree ceremonies, it could be about the language, the importance of language, it could be about parenting. There's also some that are involved with corrections that are going to talk about our people and corrections and what's happened to them, and to basically give that story of there's options in their life, they got to make the right choices.
We also have a lot of our own prophecies that are very accurate, and the elders will be sharing that knowledge, the spiritual knowledge, the spiritual teachings, the natural law that our people have always followed, and the connection to the Creator.
We were wondering when the next gathering was going to take place, and we knew that it had happened 2 years prior in Grand Rapids. So we contacted some of the people from Opaskwayak Cree Nation that were involved with the gathering, previous gatherings, and they told us that no one had stepped up to offer to host the gathering. So we made a few calls to some of the contacts with the National Working Group, and we were asked to come to Palmaker Reserve in Alberta. We were instructed by the elders to bring tobacco and cloth, and that was on a Friday. We met with them in Palmaker during their treaty celebration, and so they told us they were going to take the offering into ceremony that night, and so we left the community of Palmaker and we made our way back home, and we stopped along the road, and then Saturday morning we got a call from Alex Ahenakew.
We were at breakfast, and then that was Dave calling me, and he's like, "We got it, Rhonda, we got it." And I was like, "No way!" And then he's like, I was like, "That fast?" And he's like, "Yeah." And then he's like, "Are you with the elders?" I was like, "Yeah." It was really something.
We got a call from Alex Ahenakew, who informed us that the tobacco was accepted and that we were going to host a national gathering.
It just so happened there was a group from, I can't remember the community, but they were from Alberta. They were sitting in the same restaurant as us having breakfast, and they heard us, I guess overheard us talking about. And so when we got up to leave, that one elder and our lady elder, she said "Tanse," and then they just started talking, and he asked her, what were you talking about the Cree gathering? What is it? And then so she started telling him, we're going to be hosting it next fall. And yeah, so it was just like, wow, it's already starting. It's just like a snowball effect.
I always thought that one day it would be good for our community to host the gathering.
Nowhere in my mind did I think all this would be going on, but yeah, it's really something to see, and it's really proud to be hosting.
The elders were clear when we met with them that they wanted to bring the gathering back to its original intent, and that was to share the culture, the language, and the teachings of the elders. We had the National Cree Nation Working Group come to the community and join us at a feast last year. Actually, it was around Christmas time, and the community hall was packed. And we also had the bundle, the Cree bundle that's been traveling from the various gatherings over the year. We presented that also at that gathering and talked about the history of the bundle.
When I was asked to be a keeper of this bundle, the chief and I went and had to go and pick it up in OCN, and it is my responsibility to make sure it's properly looked after. Wherever this bundle goes, I think there's a message that comes with it, and the people just have to realize why the bundle's there, and it's for unity of the people, to make them realize who they are and to be proud of who they are as Indian people. And I think the next community that has this bundle, I think this is what they're going to feel within that 1 year that they have it. So I wish them the best, and I know they'll feel the way Fisher River feels right now, with pride and more unity within the community.
We've been upgrading our recreation grounds and our treaty grounds, and we knew that we had the capacity to host this gathering.
Developing a list of potential sponsors.
Making the land more usable. We're putting in some low-level swale ditching for better drainage on the site, just cutting grass.
We worked with a volunteer coordinator.
For the registration part, what we did was back in February of this year, we sent invite letters to all the Cree communities across Canada, informing them of the dates, of the information that was on the website, and getting all of that out. So we sent all that out back in February, and we just did like a follow-up closer on too. And then we did our recruitment. We started doing our volunteer recruitment in end of May.
Our relatives from the west came to the community today and helped build a sweat here. And this is going to be used for 4 times. Today will be the first time, and then we'll be using it prior to the gathering, where we'll sit with the elders in sweat and prepare for the gathering.
The youth in my community has been running across this country ever since it started. And these young people have been trying to create awareness across this country to bring the message of unity to our people, to bring the message of hope, dignity to our people. So ever since 1994, our leadership, our people been supporting the youth. Our youth, along with other youth, they've been running across this country for over 10 years.
That's the Unity Run?
Yes, and they're trying to create awareness of unity, to come together, to move forward with one heartbeat. And it's not only about the run, but it's about spirituality. You know, on their run, some of the elders, you know, they join him and they teach them, share teachings with them about Midop Matisewin, good life. And it's about hope. When I see these youth running, I can hear in the distance the sound of an eagle whistle. I can hear the sound of a rattle in the distance. I can hear the sound of the drum of justice. All the injustices that we encountered all these years, all the barbaric actions by the governments and the churches, all the atrocities that we experienced. That's why I say, when I see these youth continue to run, I can hear that in the distance, the drums of justice, and I feel good.
The kids did really well. They were well behaved. The communities, we started off in OCN, and the community of Fairford were very hospitable and welcomed us. We did have an unfortunate start to the run where we had a group from Moose Cree who aren't here. Sadly, though, they had a suicide in their community, and they had like 25 to 30 runners that they were going to bring. And like maybe less than a week before, they called and said that they had this unfortunate event in their community, which is very sad. We sent them our condolences.
Each time a youth puts his foot on the ground as running, we have a ripple effect. That ripple effect carries to other youth. And that's using Mother Earth's telecommunication, as it were.
It's not just by saying, yeah, I want to run. They had to actually write an essay to say why they wanted to run, what did they know about the run, and the significance of it. So with that said, we had like 4 girls, so they ran, they wrote their essays, and the 2 went hand in hand because by writing their essays, it showed their commitment.
We see these kids sacrificing themselves on the road. They fall down and they run, they keep running. That shows me a lot of determination, and we tell our kids that. If you fall down, you get up and you run. You bandage yourself up and you keep going on. And that's a lesson we learned on this Unity Run. I've learned a lot from the elders, but not only from the elders, from the youth. They give us strength, and that's who we rely on.
Unity Run.
We run from the last Cree Gathering to where it's gonna be hosted. Like last year it was in the Paw. This year it's in Fisher River, so we're running from the Paw to Fisher River.
I'm just here to support our reservation, represent the Hills, just to participate. We've been fundraising a lot. I'm so stoked about it all. I'm just still really excited. I'm glad to be helping out though, to be a part of this.
We're here to run for not only for ourselves but for our community and First Nation people.
I'm hoping that we learn more about our culture and where we're from.
Yes, and the teachings.
so I can keep our culture going instead of it dying out. And I like to run.
And it's important for you to know who you are, where your ancestors come from, and to study that on both sides of your family, on your mother's side and your father's side. It'll teach you a lot of things, and it's important to know the land and the people on the land. And there's a lot of principles. We have the values, we have a lot of ceremonies, the smudge that you see going around, that's very important to have in your life. And it's to promote a healthy lifestyle for your young people. When my uncle started the gathering many years ago, they assembled the elders here in 1994. And they built a sacred fire. And they knew it was going to be hard in the future, that we'd face a lot of hardships as a people. And we see that with a lot of the youth today. There's a lot of drugs, there's a lot of alcohol in every First Nation you go to. And this old man, my old uncle Eli Bear, seen that, and he wanted something for our people where they could come to a safe place, they could come and learn about the culture, the language, and the different ceremonies we have as a people. It's very important to know that. We're all related.
If you didn't believe in yourself, you wouldn't be here today. And that's what's important, is believing in yourself, respecting yourself and loving yourself. That is part of our teachings that we learn from our elders. And when you have that, you can respect other people, you can love other people, because you are loving and respecting yourself. Because you can't give anything out that you don't have.
And that is the reason why we run today and in the past 10 years. We sacrifice ourselves to go on that road so our community gets well, our citizens get well, our children, our grandchildren, so they may be healthy. That is the reason why we make the sacrifice. And we thank you very much for making that sacrifice. For your communities, for your citizens, for your brothers and your sisters.
One of the elders do a prayer before you leave, and they're going to sing a song. And I've been asked to quickly explain the feathers. Some of the feathers were given out to some of the runners. And the feather is from an eagle, and it's a very spiritual being. They're used in a lot of the ceremonies, our ceremonies. And it's Kanau Sumon. Kanau Sumon is just like a keeper. And everybody has a spirit. And it's just like in the Bible when they say an angel. Everybody has one. And it's a keeper. And these were taken into the sweat. They were blessed. And they were given to the runners here.
One thing everybody's saying is they're blisters.
mosquitoes aren't as big as the ones in the paw.
It put a lot of courage and faith into me to just be proud of myself and to just want to dance, and all this physical activity has helped me out a lot too.
I was thinking of my family, like just running for them and all that. Yeah, it just encouraged me a lot, even though my legs were sore. Just the thought of my late family, it just kept me going. It's a prayer that I've been saying since I was in elementary school.
So I just want to sleep.
We're off to Fairford, and we'll be hosted there at the school. So that's where we'll camp, and then, of course, tomorrow we'll be arriving at Fisher River at 3 o'clock. They're expecting us there. So.
Big sense of accomplishment, and it was kind of overwhelming. Yeah. And I know it feels great.
But it's nice to be at our destination. We fulfilled what we had to do.
I see Jared.
Feeling good. Feeling good. Yeah, feeling good.
Runners have arrived. What's next?
Celebration, feast, celebration. Continue on with the POW. Get on to the National Cree Gathering.
It was good. Awesome. Good run. But I'm sore. Yeah.
Woo! On TV, over here. I'm too tiny. On TV.
Just that I'm proud of them. I'm happy that they completed this, and if they learned anything, I'm happy for them for learning.
It was pretty exhausting,
Yeah, but it was
I
good.
just want to thank the runners. I want to thank you for your commitment. I know this Unity Run is not only about running, but it's about spirituality. It's about making awareness. This run is also about hope. When you do that, you're creating hope for the other youth, for the future generations.
Ladies and gentlemen, they represent good health. They represent wellness. These beautiful songs, they empower our people. They remind us of these beautiful traditions. We now welcome our Unity runners. We want to say thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We know of all of the challenges that we face as Indian people. And when we see our culture and our way of life before us, we're encouraged that this legacy will continue. The Cree people, the Nahiawak, they will continue to be proud nations.
We're very honored
to host the National Cree Gathering this year, and I got to tell you that for the people that have been involved, the elders and our community members that are involved with the meetings, it's been quite a year. It's been like, I guess, like a journey for us.
And they come in a long procession in their outfits. You know, I could feel the spirits. They were there. Happy to see them dancing in, looking beautiful. Same thing with the runners. And when they bring the bundle in, I think a few wet eyes. Because that's what people really want here in the community. They want that healing. They want those spiritual teachings.
After the runners came in and we took them into the circle, the powwow circle, a lot of people felt emotions they hadn't felt in a long time. Pride in our young people. And it was something that touched a lot of people, even our visitors. All the energy they put into it, you know, to bring the young people together and to share and find the balance. Good morning. We're very honored to be here today, along with the leadership. Welcome all the elders, youth, community members, and all the volunteers that have lent their support to putting this gathering together.
Good morning to everybody. And once again, I'd like to thank the community of Fisher River for inviting us here to come and share. I'll go briefly kind of go into the history of the Cree Gathering. It started in Opaskwayak in 1994, I think. And they assembled a lot of the elders because they realized we were losing a lot of the values, the ceremony, the language, the connection to the land and the spirituality. That's why a lot of the youth are off balance today.
My name is Derek Nepanak, and I'm the new Grand Chief of the Assembly of Manitoba Chiefs, and I'm very humbled and honored to be here today. The National Cree Gathering, as had been mentioned by Elder Ahenakew, and I want to thank him for making that very important distinction that this is not a political gathering. So in not being a political gathering, I wear my ribbon shirt out of respect for our culture and our traditions and our protocols, and I follow the laws of our people by extending tobacco to the chief. I know the limits of politics. Politics has its limits, but when you come together in common ancestry, in a common language, in common ceremony and tradition, that's where our power comes from as the original people. That is what I've learned through the tragedies and the losses that I've experienced. Because no matter how powerful you may think you are as a politician, you cannot take the grief away from a mother or a grandmother who's lost a young one. On behalf of your other relations from Manitoba, the Ojibwe, Saulteaux, Dakota, Ojibwe, and the Dene, I come to bring greetings to the National Cree Gathering on behalf of the Assembly.
You know, greetings from the National Chief, Assembly of First Nations, and also our National Executive.
Today, on behalf of the province of Manitoba, our Premier, Greg Selinger, and of course our Deputy Premier, the Honorable Eric Robinson.
I just want to welcome everyone here, and I want to touch a bit on the unity runners that came by into the community yesterday afternoon, and I got to really commend them on the timing that they made. It was amazing.
My name is Bob Muckman. I work for our Aboriginal Relations Department of Manitoba Hydro. I'm honored to be here today and to celebrate the Cree culture and spirit with all of you.
This is the main working group. It's not a political group. It's based on who we are as Native people. And it doesn't come from universities. It doesn't come from the scientific knowledge. It comes from the spirit world. You have a lot of youth that are very gifted, but a lot of them are very confused. So hopefully, we're only here, like was mentioned earlier, to come and share. We're not here to convert anybody, but it's just to re-identify who you are.
This year's gathering will see members of the Cree Nations from all over Canada and the United States coming together to celebrate, learn, and share with each other. It's important to celebrate culture and delve into the rich history of where we come from and share that history with the youth today. In order to preserve the Cree culture, the passing down of traditional knowledge is essential. The leaders of tomorrow should carry a strong sense of pride in their Indigenous roots. It's the gathering such as this that will help to instill those values and solidify their pride.
Very troubled. We have a lot of our people that are in provincial institutions, federal penitentiaries. Back home, the women's jail was up to 99% woman. The penitentiary runs from probably 65 to 75%. The provincial jails probably 90%. We have a lot of suicides. We have a lot of problems with drugs with our youth. And we're all experiencing that in the different reserves. So hopefully, with the ceremonies that can be utilized by our youth for that healing.
That white paper, the 69 white paper and the 1984 Buffalo Jump are still being implemented by the government. And Indian Act-based funding, that's how it's designed, is to lead us to that Buffalo Jump. The Buffalo Jump, that means that there will be no more treaty Indians, no more Indian reserves. That's the goal of the Indian Act-based funding. So it's a crisis that our leaders are going to have to do something soon. Something has to happen soon. And back home, our elders, I'm one of my, we are organizing, and John Erminskin is one of the leaders of the Elders Council. And the elders, they see that our leaders, they need to be reminded that they have an obligation, that they too have a treaty obligation.
We have suspicions that they're probably dug up where they made their gravel pits. And they were snuck out of town because one of the agreements we had with Hydro was that if any human remains were found, work had to stop so they could do a forensic audit or a forensic investigation into the bodies that were found. So they snuck them out and never told anybody. And they've been sitting in the University of Manitoba for the past 50 years. Nothing's ever been done with them. No investigation. They've just been sitting there. And so my daughter arranged 3 more caskets, and this was last November, and said the process for getting bodies back is there has to be a request from the community to bring them back. And so she went to the chief and council, and they sent a letter saying they wanted the bodies back, and so that process was begun. And my daughter would go there, every time she was in Winnipeg, she would go and visit the bodies and smudge them, she put tobacco on them, say prayers. Because she felt, when she was there, she said, I felt an incredible loneliness. I just felt their loneliness. at being in this place. And so she would go and visit them and smudge them and pray for them so they wouldn't be alone. And that's what she did all winter. Last Sunday, we lit a fire, a sacred fire, for 4 days to mark their journey home. We lit it at the spot where we have the record of the one that was dug up, called Chartiers Point. That's where we have the record. One was dug up, and we said we'll bury them all there. Because we don't know where the other ones were dug up. We'll bury them all in the same place. And so on July 31st, we lit a sacred fire to mark the beginning of their journey home. On Tuesday, August 2nd, they arrived in Grand Rapids.
Here, Fred. I'm going to get you to put your hat right here, like this, okay? Okay? I'll just hold it here like this. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to get you here, okay? I'm going to get you here, but what you do is you can try get it towards the bottom here, okay? Try put it towards the side of the room, okay? Yeah, slide over, good, okay? Go ahead, buddy. Yeah, hold it. I know, I don't know what they're laughing at you for, but okay. Okay, Jimmy,
this time I'm going to introduce the young group here, the Cree Nation, Cree Northern Light Dancers. They started dancing about a year ago out of the Charles Sinclair School.
Indian people have sign language when they're speaking English. They use their hands. Where are you going? Over there. Or they give you directions. Indian people don't give good directions, and they're even bad at following directions. Even worse. You know that road there? Not that one. You take the other road. It'll come to a dead end, keep going. Okay, Austin Ermineskin, you're gonna do Michael Jackson, right? Let's give him a big round of applause. Hi-cha!
School with Ahenakew, Fisher River School. I go down here. We couldn't talk English that time. But I mean, even Cree. I mean, we had to talk English, and we were kind of lost our Cree from school. Like I remember we were talking Cree a while second, and then we got in trouble for that, and then that Margaret Stevens, he down a teacher, and then he made us, he rubbed some Lifebuoy soup on our tongue. I guess they figured that we were swearing, but we were trying to talk our language. We know we had to talk our language all the time at home.
My mother and some people in Winnipeg, they created a place called the Indian and Métis Friendship Center. And I'm telling you this story because It's where I come from. I come from my mother's womb. And in a lot of ways, I'm just like her. And so she gathered together a whole bunch of people. Some white people. I don't like that word, but that's what she said back then. Some Indian people, some legal people, some politician people. And I said to her, because I was in my American Indian movement days, I said, Mom, how come you're working with white people all the time? And she said to me, because they have knowledge that I need to know. I need to know how to build this friendship center that we're trying to gather people in. I need to know where I get the money from. I need to know all of these things that's going to make it work.
We lost our Cree language here. When I was a young kid growing up, everything was white here in our community. White teachers and ministers and school teachers and traders. And we even wanted to eat white bread instead of bannock. And we were encouraged to marry white men, which is what I did. I listened to them very well. But I have 3 beautiful children from all of that. The Creator has blessed me with that.
I'm married, I'm not available, but people say, cheat. Just kidding. There's the only ones laughing over there. Thank you. Which one is that? Was that you? No. I love you. Are you from Nelson House? That's why. He's the only man I know that wears shades in the night. Mr. Percy Tuesday, give him a round of applause.
The night was clear and the moon was yellow and the leaves came tumbling down. I was standing on a corner when I heard my bulldog bark. He was barking at 2 men who gamble in the dark. Stagger Lee.
We never went to the store to buy bread or anything. We made our own bread, our own bannock, kakinakikon. Tigisam, ako patatawya, blankets. She made everything her own. Even blinds and curtains and stuff. Bedding. Nagawa namin ng maskusya, hay mattress.
Everywhere today, the water is poison. Sicknesses are coming from that water. And the biggest one is the cancer that's hitting everyone.
including my own family. I have a sister, my sister that's next to me, that she's been given only 3 months. When that hits home, it hits hard. A lot of times we hear about people having cancer. You know, this person has cancer, but when it hits you right in the heart, it really hurts. It really hurts. The water out here in our community, we've been affected from the farmlands up south, pig farms, allowing the seepage of their waste to come onto our waters. And even further than that, all the way from stateside, they're bringing their pollution down here to our beautiful Lake Winnipeg. We eat fish from this lake. You know, our fishermen bring our fish home from this lake. And there's been fish that have been found that are do not look like fish anymore. They look sick. They have cancer on them. And our fishermen have to sort through that fish and try to ensure that we are not eating that. But it's very hard to do because some of that cancer is inside the fish, not on the outside, unseen. So the teachings of the water is very important as women. These were given to women to carry this and pray for that water and speak for that water. There's not enough of us women carrying these teachings anymore because we're not sharing it enough. And I'm here today to share this teaching with you. The water, the responsibility of water was given to us women to carry and to take care of that water. To ask Creator to help us, to guide us on what to do, what we need to do. Today, you see this. A lot of this water in plastic bottles. About 20 years ago when I was at a Sundance, an elder stood up and said, you know what? You're going to be buying water one day, and it will be in your lifetime. And I heard young people around me saying, how can that be? There's so much water everywhere. Look at this today. The other thing is the plastic. This does not break down when it goes to the garbage dump. This will always be there. And this has chemicals in it. It's made from chemicals. And when we drink this water, we're drinking the chemicals that seeps into this water from this plastic. Same with the styrofoam. Styrofoam does not degrade into the earth. It does not mix with earth because it's man-made. It's made from chemicals.
The same spot. We go every year because we don't want people to say, this is not your spot. Because as soon as if we quit going there, the government would say, that's not yours anymore. We actually got visitors from the government of Manitoba about 3 years ago to come and see us there because they're trying to make a park of Long Point. And that's why we maintain that this is our spot and we have to go there.
When we talk about educating children, it's not because
It's a curriculum. It's not because there's learning outcomes. It's because we love them.
Well, I think the youth themselves, they have to make up their minds. Like, you can't really force anybody. But once they get some kind of message, it comes to a point where they start looking for a better way of life. And that's the time to start teaching them. That's the time they're willing to start listening.
To learn our ways. And there's certainly a lot to teach them.
I'd like to say, talk about a little bit about the Cree, the unity runners, because we travel with them. And that's where we teach them a lot of things. When you get them in the public, you can't teach them nothing, because they're all scattered, like here. The only time you can teach them something is on the road. We have morning sessions, evening sessions. Sometimes we have pipe ceremony. And that's where we tell them different things.
No matter what tribe in this country, no matter what territory that you would travel in, there are certain things that are foundational. And those teachings that were foundational were gifted to me. And the ceremonies that come with those, I was exposed to and taught. One of the things that's important to me is that the children and the youth know our laws. And that our laws are in the land. And this place that I call home, the territory where my mother came from, this river talks about laws. This land that we sit on today has laws. These plants have laws, these animals, these insects. Everything here has a law. The eagle has a law, the grass has a law, the tree has a law, the river has a law. And when everybody's abiding the laws that Creator gave us, then everybody's doing their part.
They're learning our natural laws. And that's what I was told by the elders, was to practice, preserve, protect, and promote our identity, our Cree identity.
It's about pride. It's about your dignity, the dignity of the unborn, your children and your grandchildren. And as long as I walk this earth, I'm going to continue to support Cree Nation Gathering, and I will continue to support the youth.
From just the short time we've had with the elders, the ones that we had during the run, they're really good. They were teaching us respect and teaching us some songs during the sweat lodge ceremonies.
We lost so much, and people have to really take a look at what we had as a people, in particular our youth. They have to understand, who they are as a people and what they have. They have the language, they have the culture, our ceremonies. That's a part of their life. That's who they are.
We're going to start with the closing events and the wrap-up of our National Cree Gathering. Before we get started with Chief Crate, I'm going to call up Rhonda Kirkness here. She has an announcement to make.
Since the gathering's ending, we also have a special day tomorrow as well. There's somebody in this tent that's celebrating a birthday tomorrow, and we'd like for Chief Crate to stand up so we could sing him happy birthday. So if we could all join in and sing Chief Crate a happy birthday.
Start them off.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear David. Happy birthday to you.
They don't call that friendly Manitoba for nothing. But my job is to look after the young people on the road. I'd like to thank your leadership here for giving me a good support.
I would also like to thank all the people, Fisher River, the chief, the council, not only that, the kids, the young people, and the women, and all the men. and the elders from here. It's always really touching to meet the old people. We've met people from far west as Frog Lake, and we've gone through right all the way to northern Quebec, Chichasabee, Quebec. And that was the longest run the children made. It took them a long time. It's about 2,500 miles. And nobody in the world does this, what we're doing. And we are a strong people. There was a lot that happened to us through history, but we've survived, like Chief Primrose said. And those people that have come here from other countries are going to come back to us, and they're going to want to know the knowledge that we have. That time is coming.
I want to thank, first of all, the chief and the council, and of course the elders of this nation for their awesome hospitality and everything else that they've done for us as the working group. Now, I'm also very thankful to the presenters on what they had to say and gave. I know the little time that they had, we all got something out of it.
It's bittersweet for me right now. It's sad for me to see everyone go their separate ways and go home and all that.
Thank you for the song. I'm not going to tell you my age, but I'm younger than Carl anyway. But I just want to, I know elders want to be on the road soon, so I'm not going to be very long. I just want to extend a big thank you to all the elders and all the visitors and all our people from the community that volunteered their time to make this event something that we'll think about for a long time. And then we have other people here too from some of our organizations that work for the communities, MF NERC and AMC, and really appreciate them taking time out of their busy schedules to come and help us. One of the things with the gathering, I think, and we know through the ceremonies that were conducted here, that the spirit was here in our community. It did touch a lot of people, right from the elders to our young people. And the day of the Unity Run, when the runners came into the community, people in the community talked to me after the runners came in, and we took them into the circle, the powwow circle. A lot of people felt emotions they hadn't felt in a long time, pride in our young people. And it was something that touched a lot of people, even our visitors, to see all these youth come and commit that time and all the energy they put into it, to bring the young people together and to share. I think we all learned a lot of things here at the gathering, and even the elders that traveled to our community, I think, talking, and they shared a lot about the intent of the gathering and the bundle that traveled to our community. They talked about their own learning and the things we have to do, pick up responsibility. Like the elders that were here are a small number compared to when the gathering started. They had up to 50 elders at the first gathering, and then over the years they've dropped off. So the elders talked about that. They got to take the time and teach other people, about how to handle the bundle, the ceremonies, So that was good. It was good the elders realized that, they have to also step up their efforts to get the word across to people that they need help. They need to transfer this knowledge they carry. And but I got to tell you, it's been a really emotional time here for a lot of people at the gathering, and to have the Split Lake community step up and offer that tobacco today is really good. So we know that that fire will continue on. with the Split Lake community, and the elders talked about it today, that the fire is getting brighter, you know, for our people. There was a lot of emotions this week and things that you wouldn't have captured on video, but this morning, even last night, the round dance, it was sort of a sadness last night, because we knew that, well, personally I knew that the gathering was going to end, and I had a couple of the women from the community come up to me today and tell me that they almost started crying last night when I was talking, because they felt that sadness, you know, that I felt, you know, that the gathering was coming to a close soon. And then today with the bundle, you know, the emotions that were there when they opened that bundle up, you know, and you felt it, you felt that spirit, and you felt, because so many hands have touched that bundle since it was created, and you could feel it, you could feel the strength of that bundle.
It's a good day to be Cree.
It's a good day to be Cree, yes.
I'd like to say miigwech to everyone.
Oh, hi everyone. On behalf of Councillor, the Ecuadorian group from South America, we'd like to thank you, Fisher River, for welcoming us for this nice and big gathering you have held this weekend. So we'd like to thank you very much and congratulate you for such a big and well-organized event you've been having. And here my uncles would like to tell thank you, and we hope to see you next year, and thank you very much for everything. We really had a good time. Okay.
Thank you very much, Fisher River, for the hospitality. Thank you. See you next year.
Hope you guys enjoy the thing at the next one at the Split Lake.
I'm hoping I could take a lot of these back and share with the people there with the urban ministries.
We had a good weekend, enjoyable, and the spirit is moving.
Thank you, Fisher River.
And to put this gathering on was really something special in my life, to see all the people, go around and meet them from all the different nations. So it's been a wonderful weekend. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Fisher River Cree Nation, for hosting the National Cree Gathering 2011 Peas #1. Right on.
We had an awesome weekend, and I'm glad I was here for it. And good luck to everyone else when they have their Cree gathering in Split Lake next year. Thank you. Thank you.
National Cree Gathering. Yeah.
Kichibi wetspagi bija na ngomesen bashki guk. Pai kwichitik.
Okay, thank you for hosting the Cree Gathering. Okay, na nagibashkata ko. One.